Hello and welcome to the Manifest to Live Life Golden Show. This is episode 76, 8 ways to manifest creating consciously and no longer living as an unconscious creator. This is your wake up call, people. This is the call for you to take your power back on all fronts and to continue to up level in this life experience. So I want to share, I just got back from an incredible birthday weekend. Yes, it was my birthday yesterday. And so many realizations on this trip about up-leveling your life experience, my life experience, and what happens when we really become conscious in the creating process. So I'm going to get into a little quantum physics today. This is just a reminder of how energy works and how you contribute to the conduction of what your life is giving you. The evidence of your life is coming from you. It's coming from your energy conduction and what you continually focus upon, what you continually decide to focus upon. Now, if you're not deciding, if you don't feel like you're a decider, that means you're unconsciously creating. That's what it means. To unconsciously create means you are creating life through default. You are reacting to things that are happening. You are feeling very powerless and you are not putting your, greatest potential forward to become one with this science, to become one with the spirituality of manifesting. When you meld those things together, when you really grasp the science and you really take on the spiritual way of living and become conscious in your creating, you will no longer respond in the same ways. And when you no longer respond, you no longer create the same scenarios. So I'm going to give you ways that you can connect with how you are unconsciously creating. And then I'm going to give you ways that you can become the absolute most conscious creator possible. And I know there's still levels for me, but I have to tell you, after this weekend and what's been happening in my life experience. So, things are not perfect. Life is not perfect. And I may put it out there that my life is perfect. And I do like to share the different things and potentials that you may be experiencing, even though I'm not experiencing them. So a lot of my posts may seem like I'm going through stuff. But the reality is the things that are in front of me, the dramas, the people, the circus, I always say, these are your monkeys and this is your circus. The things that are going on in front of me, I am able to navigate in a very different way. And it always surprises me when I work with people, individuals, and they listen to my podcast and they listen to all my stuff and they still continue to go back to these scenarios and to the life circumstances that are not serving them. So, they say you take yourself with you wherever you go. So you'll continue to create these cycles as long as you are staying unconscious. So to be conscious is to really wake up. To wake up to energy, to wake up to your conduction of it, to wake up to your mood, to wake up to your thoughts, to wake up to what you are tuning into, what the frequencies are, and to be able to not just look at them and say, I don't want to feel this way and I don't want to do this anymore, but to actually change it, to actually become a different creator. So I had a couple of realizations this weekend. My husband actually took me away to La Jolla, California, which was absolutely beautiful. It is a cove and there are tons of sea lions. It was amazing. We actually saw seals as well. Learned the difference between sea lions and seals, which I continually refer to them as seals. Now, when I share these stories, I'm not doing this to make you feel less than or make you feel like my life is luckier than yours, because I have come from many of the places that many of you are struggling, not being able to travel, barely putting food on the table. I have been there. So this is just more about sharing the journey of how to get from there to here and the incremental things you can do in your energy field to start being a more conscious conductor, a more conscious creator. So we left on Friday. So I had a great fun Friday with my one friend who is the OG of Fun Fridays, Diane. and she wanted to go on a little adventure. So we went to Corona del Mar, and we were talking about doing, she wanted lobster rolls, right? So for whatever reason, I've been having issues getting lobster rolls. I fixed this, but I don't know why that was happening. And so we got to the place that the lobster rolls were, which is right on the beach, and they were closed due to unforeseen circumstances. So whatever, we got lunch somewhere else. We had a beautiful day together and had a lot of fun. And then I headed off to La Jolla with my husband and didn't know what to expect. He had planned this trip, and I told him what I wanted. I told him my wishes, which was basically the beach and sunshine and fun. And he overdid it. Did it so well, he overdid it. So he rented this Airbnb that literally overlooked the water and the city of, I believe it's Torrey Pines and La Jolla, and we could see all these sea lions, and you could actually hear them. They're in mating season, so they're barking like crazy. And one really cool manifestation is my Fun Friday friend Diane had mentioned about going to the Cave store, which is basically this store that they built around this staircase that that this man had hired these Chinese immigrants to build a staircase inside of a cave, and so he could make money. So it's an attraction. And so when we pulled up, we realized that our place was right across from the cave store. So we got to do that. It's called Sunny Jim's Cave. It was based off of a cartoon character that was on a cereal box back in like the 1900s, because it looks like the shape of his face. So we got to do that, which was super cool. We went first thing in the morning. We planned it one day. We went first thing in the morning, no line, went right down, got to hang out in the cave by ourselves for a little bit. And it was cool. Like hanging out inside the earth was really cool. So on this trip, first of all, the Airbnb was the most incredible place I've ever stayed. And it was my outfit matched the bedspread. It was like everything that I love, absolutely everything that I love. And the whole front of the place was glass, and you could see the ocean. And it was stellar. I just couldn't get over it. In fact, a lot of our meals we ate there because the view was better than anywhere else. So as the trip progressed and we started to decide what we wanted to do, it was like everything was lining up for us. So we thought we didn't have paid parking, and then we messaged the Airbnb girl, and she's like, "Oh yeah, there's a parking spot for you." And just was super helpful people, and every single dinner that we had and everything that we did was just an up level of like a deep, deep satisfaction. And again, I don't say this to brag. I say this to let you know that this is possible, that this potential is there for you. I'm a couple years out of, the financial struggle and up leveling into abundance and recognizing what I need to clean up, what responses I need to clean up so that I'm no longer in this low vibrational pattern of doubts and scarcity and fear. So I've done a lot of journaling and I've done a lot of healing, and recognizing how quantum physics works and putting it into place every single day, every single moment is how you become that conscious creator. So, yeah, amazing, truly amazing. So we actually decided that we would go kayaking one day. And so we actually got to see the outside of the caves, which was really cool. And we got to actually kayak inside one of the caves. We saw dolphins jumping, lots of sea lions, and it was really super fun. And then the last day, my husband was like, "I really want to go snorkeling in the morning." I was like, "Let's do it." We had swam in the ocean, something I love to do. The water is warmer. The temperature is a little warmer down there. So it was really wonderful to just get in and swim and do all the things that I really wanted to do. And, we spent one day at the beach, which was super great. And so he's like, "I really want to go snorkeling." Well, there was a snorkeling truck where they rented equipment. And we got up the last morning we were there, and we only had about an hour before we had to like get back, shower, and check out of the Airbnb. So we walk up to the snorkeling truck, and the guy is like profusely apologizing. "I'm leaving. I'm not going to be able to be here to return your equipment." He's like, "There's a place about a quarter mile down that will totally take care of you. I'm so sorry." And he said something like, "I'm sure you guys don't want to buy equipment." And so my husband looks at me and he's like, "So what do you want to do?" I'm like, "Well, we don't have time to walk a quarter mile to go get stuff and then bring it back." And so I just looked at the guy and I go, "So how much is it to buy them?" And he was like, $40. And I was like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, we'll buy them." So we bought these brand new brand new masks and snorkels that were actually like top of the line. They close if you go down deep, you don't get water in them. Just amazing equipment. And we've been wanting to snorkel for a long time. So this is like just part of that. And he gave us a free dive bag and it was perfect. It was so perfect. So we went down to the water. And as soon as we get down, and it's this tiny little alcove that tons of people swim at, like they do races there, they do all sorts of different things. So a lot of people train and swim there. So we're down there and there's not a lot of people. And all of a sudden a sea lion literally comes up onto the beach, like right in front of me. And I'm a little intimidated. I'm not going to lie. So I backed up a little bit. I just like to give nature respect and space. And, the thought occurred to me. So this is a change in the way that I respond and the way that I conduct energy. I used to very much be afraid of things. I used to not want to do things. And with the kayaking, even, it's an ocean situation. I have kayaked in bays. I have kayaked in lots of lakes. I'm a fine kayaker, but kayaking on the open ocean is a lot different. So we're overlooking, this thing and we're watching all these kayakers and it's tours. So you're with a tour, so you're safe. They have helmets on, they have life jackets on. And I'm like, oh yeah, that looks like it might be a little adventurous. My husband's like, well, we won't do it then. And I was like, no, that's not what I meant. I want to do it. So noticing that I don't have that resistance and fear anymore when we're put up to tasks like snorkeling. So snorkeling, you got to get in the water. There's lots of seagrass. It's all over my body. I'm not a big fan. So just getting through that resistance, being okay with like what's in the water, not having like any anxiety about what's in the water, and being surrounded by sea lions who are literally in mating season. I mean, I'm telling you guys, they're all over the rocks. They're all in the water. And just being really aware of that, I kind of put it out there that I didn't want to see one because I thought that would freak me out. And my husband put it out there that he did want to see one. So literally one swam right by him and I missed it. And I was like, I think I did that. I put that out there. So could be fear and anxiety about like what's in the ocean and do I really want to know? It was so amazing to just go down and see there were these Garibaldi fish that were like bright orange, and it was just an incredible experience. So then I ended up getting out because I'm like, okay, I think I've had enough. And my husband was like, come out where the sun is because the water's warmer and we'll see more things. And I was like, all right, I'm doing it. So I got back in. So noticing that I didn't have a lot of resistance and fear over the things I was doing that used to ruin our trips before. I don't know about ruin, but they definitely dampened our experiences. So I'm being more of like adventurous and more of a yes girl and not allowing fear to hold me back and limit my experience. These are life expanding things. These are things that actually create more of a potential for us to live in a higher vibration as we experience these really cool things. So I highly recommend La Jolla. It was one of the best trips of my life. It was the best birthday of my life. There's no doubt about it. So in the understanding of quantum physics and breaking this baby way down for you to understand what frequency is, vibration, and how you set the tone for both of those, I'm going to jump into that. All right. So your mood is the biggest frequency tuner. So how you wake up in the morning, and this is why it's so important to be conscious. Because when you wake up in the morning, remember, Stanford just did a study. We have 60,000 thoughts a day, and 90% of them are the same thoughts we had yesterday. So if we are not conscious of that 10% of new thinking gets very lost in these 60,000 thoughts. So in order to be conscious, the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning is, what do I really want to think about? What do I really want to believe? What do I really want to feel? What do I really want to experience today? When you do that, tuning into gratitude, tuning into love, tuning into the fact that, oh my goodness, I get another day on this beautiful earth, that sets you up. That sets up your foundation. As you move through your day, that mood is what is going to tune you into other people's moods and other vibrations. That sets the frequency sets the vibrational standpoint. So as people come into your experience, they may not be in your mood. They may not be on your frequency, right? So this is when conscious creating becomes super important, because then you have to decide, you have to make a conscious decision. Am I dropping my frequency? Am I dropping my vibe to match theirs, or am I rising above it? And basically pulling both of us up, because that's what you'll do when you're lighthearted and you're silly, and you actually will bring light to people's day. You will help them to feel less heavy by transferring your energy to somebody else. I do this all the time by helping them to get out of their monkey mind and see that there's others things around them, that there's beauty around them, that there's so much more in life to experience than just what's happening in your very limited perspective of reality, right? People are focused, so hyper focused on reality, they can't create. They're so in a box that they can't create the next moment, because they're so focused on what is, so focused on what is right here, right now. They can't create out there. They can't create the next moment. It sounds like they're being really present, but they're really not. They're really more in the monkey mind and more in the problems than they are in being a conductor. Being a conductor means you are fully aware of what frequency you're in, and you're able to take that frequency into the vibration that brings you what you want, that brings you more things that are of a lighthearted nature, that are of a joyful and satisfying nature. My energy this weekend was deep, deep, deep satisfaction because the word satisfaction wasn't enough. It was deep satisfaction. It was like every time I walked around this Airbnb and just looked out at this scenery, I was like, that's so satisfying. It's so satisfying. So then every meal, everything we did, every experience we had was more and more satisfying. And that's what you have to understand about the law of attraction. The better it gets, the better it gets. And the more you can be a conductor and focus on what you want to bring into your life, the more you're going to have opportunities to experience the wanted versus the unwanted. So understand that your mood creates a momentum. So your mood, tunes you into that frequency, which sets your vibrational tone, which creates a momentum. That momentum can be very strong and it can be very fast. And that's why people have trouble shifting from a bad mood to a good mood, because you've got all this momentum around the bad mood or all this momentum around stress. It's really hard to feel peace in those moments. So it's breaking the momentum may take a little time. It may take you a few days. It may take you a week of consciously taking a hold of that frequency and vibration and setting it to a new place. Now, if you have a lot of things going on in your life that are not optimal, this is challenging. I'm not going to lie to you. Like when we were going through some of our hardest financial times, there was a lot of like up and down. There was a lot of roller coaster ride, but we kept navigating. We kept recalibrating our vibrations to where we wanted to be. We did things. We took walks in nature. We journaled. We did energy release sessions with people. We did everything we possibly could to set our potentials higher. We did things that were exciting. We were a part of a business that was very exciting. We were with people that were excited. That really helped. So surround yourself with those who are in a higher vibe. If you are surrounded by negativity, and you're with a lot of people that are in the gloom and doom, or you're in these chat groups that are all about the problems happening in the world, you're setting your frequency to that and to them. And I know there's family members and there's spouses and there's children that you feel like you can't help it. One thing that I realized this weekend, I had gotten a text message from one of my kids and it wasn't great. And I thought, geez, why does she want to do that to me on my birthday weekend? Why is she, and that was the thought. That was the thought that was going to tune me into a frequency that was going to make me feel misery. Think about that. Which thoughts, perceptions, and judgments are causing you to do that, to put yourself in misery? Because she's not doing that to me. I'm doing that to myself. I'm doing that to myself. That text message, allowing that text message to do anything to my day or my weekend or my life is up to me. I can look at it and I can say, okay, not right now. And I can go on my merry way guiltlessly. And it's not that I'm not here for my kids, because this is the thing. I am always here for my kids. They know that. But there are times in our life where it's okay to hit the pause button, that it's okay. I may even next time just send out a little message to my girls and say, hey, I'm going on pause. So unless it's like extremely good news, give me a couple days. It's my birthday. Come on, it's my birthday. And it was a big birthday. It was my 50. Hello. Cannot. Whew, 50 years old. I don't feel 50. I feel great. I feel fantastic. I probably feel the best I've ever felt in my life. So age is just a number. I remember so significantly my mom getting super depressed about turning certain ages. And I refuse to do that. It's just such wasted energy. If you are sad that you're getting older, if you're sad that you feel like you've missed opportunities, like cut it out. Like stop it. Your life starts now. You get to start creating right now from this moment. And whatever happened yesterday or 5 minutes ago or an hour ago does not have to show up in this moment. But you've got to get to be a conscious creator so you can change the momentum of what you're experiencing. So you can alter the reality of what you're living by deciding for yourself how you want to live it. All right. So if you are an unconscious creator, about the process, about the quantum physics process, which basically is like you have a thought, it conducts a feeling, it conducts beliefs, it conducts a mood, and all of that goes out into this beautiful wave into the universe that starts to break down and become matter and becomes physical evidence very quickly, minutes, very quickly. So in order for you to become a conscious creator, you've got to get ahead of that experience. You've got to get ahead of your life in order to conduct the energy that you want. And you've got to ask yourself consistently, what do I want to happen? Because worst case scenarios are programming. They're absolutely programming. Our mothers, our grandmothers. I don't know why I just want to say it was women, but it's men too. Our fathers, our brothers, people, our society all around us has conditioned us to be in the worst case scenarios, to have a plan B, to decide that things are not working out for us, to be in the problem constantly, because if we don't get in the problem, we're not going to find the solution. And that's bullshit. The truth is the problem and the solution have different energy fields. So you've got to get out of the problem. You got to let go of your tendency and your addiction to be in the problem. That's drama, baby. That's drama. And a lot of it is like, I just want to matter. I just want to feel like I matter. I just want to feel something, and when you're in that energy of I want to feel something, even if it's not positivity, like feeling negativity sometimes feels good, right? Like when you get pissed off, sometimes it feels good. When you yell at people, sometimes it feels good, right? Why is that? You want to know why that is? Because you get a hormone download of adrenaline and all sorts of stress hormones that are actually aging you. They're actually making you age faster, and they're taking away from your life experience exponentially because they're making you feel like you're powerless against it. And you absolutely are powerful against all things. You have power over all things, your emotions, your addictions, substances, your tendencies. You have power over all of these things, but you must wake up. You must wake up to the ways in which you continue to make yourself miserable. You continue to take yourself out of high vibrations. You continue to tune yourself into lower frequencies. All right, so I put a little thing in here about staying young. I had a post the other day about staying young. It was actually on my birthday on August 29th. And it was all about staying young. So basically, people say to me all the time, oh my gosh, you don't look like you're 50. They say to my daughters, it doesn't look like your mom. And I love that. And yes, I have good genes. I'm sure I have good genes. But there are several things that I've done in my life to really take the power back in my youth. I exercise, I get up early, I drink lots of water. I'm a happy person. I don't have a lot of stress. Like I don't stress about a lot of things. Do I stress? Sometimes, yes. Sometimes I forget, but the forgetting is so much shorter than it used to be that it's almost like irrelevant because it doesn't really conduct in my life experience. I don't allow it to take over for very long at all anymore. So the other part of that too is the doubts, like letting go of those doubts. Something recently happened to me where I just let them go. I don't let them in anymore. I don't wake up like normally after after a vacation. Now I was on vacation for 2 weeks. I came back for a week and I went on vacation again. Normally after vacations, especially if alcohol is involved, which it was this weekend, not to extremes, but it was there, I will get into a lower frequency the day I wake up in my house. And it's not that I don't love, I love my home, but we're back. We're back to life. We're back to the kids. I'm back to the podcast. My husband's back to work. It's back to the grind, as they call it. I don't call it that, but people call it the grind. So it's easy to have like a happiness hangover. Do you ever have a happiness hangover? It's like you come back from vacation and you're like, oh, that was so much better than this. My husband and I got home yesterday in the afternoon. And luckily, we had a beautiful dinner planned with our friends, which was an absolute blast at my favorite restaurant. But we had a couple of hours with the kids, and it was like, wow, like the contrast of being alone and having so much fun and having no drama and just like ease and flow to being with our kids again. It's contrasting. It's contrasting, and it can bum you out. It can actually put you in a lower frequency because the difference between that joy and like your life, right? Say, create a life that you don't need a vacation from. But there's people, there's a circus, and there's monkeys, and you have to navigate it. So normally today I would wake up and I would feel a little bit low, and often I wouldn't even do a podcast today because I'm like in recovery from being so happy. But it's different. Today is different. There was none of those thoughts. And I know why, because I have tuned them out. I've totally tuned out the frequencies of doubt and, feeling like, why can't I live that all the time? Or whatever happens after you get back from vacation, like, oh God, I got to get back to this life sucking life. And it's like, no, there's none of that. It's all subject to our perception and our judgment and what we get to do every day when we wake up in the morning. I was really excited to have my coffee. Actually, I don't have it here, but I got this really funny coffee cup from my friend that said born in the 70s, and it's all retro, and it says, I'm not old, I'm retro. And that was my dear friend, Carolyn, who she just made my night. We had so much fun. Her and her husband, Carrie, are dear friends. We love them so much. And I just woke up super grateful for what I've was able to do, what I get to do now, and what this week presents for me, and the excitement and passion that I have about life, So you've got to look at that. And if you have a momentum in your reality, in your life, and it's grind and it's, I got to get back to the stress and I got to deal with people again. If that's the energy, think about that. Think about the frequency that you're sending to that job. Think about the frequency that you're sending to your life. That frequency that you're sending out that sets your vibrational tone, that sets what comes to you next. It's all about your mood. It's all about how you feel. So I woke up feeling great, and I've had a really great day. And my house has been a little bit of a disaster, which I'm usually not good with. But again, let it go. Hello. My daughter decided like very first thing in the morning. In fact, when I got downstairs at 6:30, she was cleaning out the hall closet, which has never been cleaned before, by the way. And I'm super clean, but I'm a shover. So I had like, my 85 pairs of shoes in there. It's never been vacuumed. So there was tons of dust, and the coats are all kind of a mess and hanging on top of each other. So she took all the coats out and all the shoes out. So I come walking down the stairs. It's right across from my stairway. And it was like the closet exploded in the living room. And it's still there. She put all the shoes back, but all the coats are still on my couches. So she's like, oh, I'm going to get my nails done. I'll, when I come back, I'll do that. And I'm like, cool. Like, it's fine. It's totally fine. Because I know ultimately it's going to turn out amazing, right? Because that's what I want. And I want it to get done today, and it will get done today. So I'm not stressing about it. So that's another way that we create misery, is being in resistance to what people do, and then allowing it to dim our light, to create a heaviness within us because we're looking at their life or looking at what they're doing, and we're in resistance to it. It's like a non-resistant path. It's just being very neutral to what's happening and changing the story within it. Normally a story like a thing like that would spin me out because I feel like my house is not in my control. I feel like, everything's a mess, and it could spin me out. But that's a momentum, and I'm not in the frequency of that. So it's not as easy to grab me. It's not there. I may have had a thought or two, but it was like, no, not doing it. So you have the power. All right, so here's a couple of examples of being an unconscious creator. Okay, so this is the difference between conscious creating and unconsciously creating. So just a little example so you can understand where the foundations of this comes from and how you can navigate it in different experiences. So something happens, right, in your life. A boss, a coworker, a friend, a partner does something that you don't like. Okay, so you instantly get annoyed, right? You instantly feel that normal frustration that you normally feel when they do things like this. Okay. So your response is, let's say they yell at you or they accuse you of something. So your response, your normal response is this is if you're unconscious, you respond by feeling hurt, taking it personally, feeling powerless and upset. You think about it constantly. It keeps you up at night. You talk about it all the time and you feel like there's nothing you can do. That's unconscious creating because you're literally doing something that you've done over and over and over again, and you're doing it the same way and you're hoping for different results, but they're never going to come because you're totally in the problem. You are totally in the problem and you can't get out of it that way, from that standpoint, from that frequency. Okay, so here's the difference if you're a conscious creator. Something happens, someone yells at you, it's kind of this dramatic thing. You take it to meditation, you sit down, you breathe, you journal, you talk about in your journaling, you get out how you feel, you ask for a healing, you recognize the patterns of when you felt this before, and you ask for the release from your body. You get really connected to, what do I want to happen with this person? You also can pull away. This is something that I've done a lot in my life, and I've looked at their life experience and what's happening for them. And I often like to see people as wounded little kids, because a lot of times that's what it is. It's wounds they've never dealt with. It's old patterns of behavior. And I don't have to be a part of that. I can excuse myself by not activating, by not tuning into frequency, by not grabbing a hold of this thing and creating a whole bunch of shitstorm momentum around it. I don't have to do that anymore. So it's by pulling back, pulling away from it and just going, what does this mean for me? What do I need to learn from this? What can I do about it? And then what do I want to happen? That's it. It's that simple, but it takes conscious focus to continue to move away from and interrupt those dramatic thoughts that want to take you there. And if you've never done healing work, there's a little bit of work that needs to be done. You've got to really focus on letting this stuff go, letting it heal, recognizing that you're not powerless, that no one has power over you, and then deciding what you want to happen. When you decide what you want to happen, it's just an energetic decision. You don't go in there and say to your boss, okay, this isn't happening ever again. I'm not doing this with you, right? You don't have to do that. It's energetic. You just make a decision in your energy field and then you conduct from there and you tune into the frequency there, and then that sets the vibration. So instead of getting hurt and disappointed and upset with your boss, your partner, your child, your sister, your mother, your friend, instead of doing that, you go, how am I going to respond to this? What are the feelings that I want more of? Is it, compassion? Is it love? Is it, oh boy, I really need to shine some light on this person because they are really hurting. When you shift it like that and you start to see how other people's journeys are not about you, that don't need to be about you unless you've got some healing work to do, it transforms. It absolutely transforms the relationships and the things that happen next. How can I not be in resistance to this? So the biggest thing that blocks the energy field, that slows the energy down, is our resistance. We get really upset. We don't want it to happen. We kick and scream. We do this a lot with other people's stuff, like especially our kids or our spouse. Like we don't want them doing that. So we create a whole bunch of drama around that creates a lot of misery. So being in resistance to other people's journeys actually creates a ton of misery in our own journeys, and their journeys aren't like something we really have a say in. I mean, we do, but we don't. They have their own belief systems, they have their own way of doing things, and we can offer our love and our opinions, but it doesn't mean they're going to be taken. And we need to let that go, because that's how we can create more misery by, they never listen to me, right? So, can I rise above this and learn from it and become more? Yes. Yes, you can. You absolutely can in so many freaking ways. It's all about your expansion and growth. So, where is my growing edge? What do I need to take from this? What do I need to learn from this? You know, if you're trying to give up substances, I had Nigel Jones on episode 75. He was amazing. He's given up alcohol for 15 months. He's such an inspirer. I am definitely ready to take a break myself from alcohol and just tune myself into higher frequencies. And he was definitely an inspirer of that. He wrote a great book called Walking Back to Happiness. But if you're working to do that, you know, tuning into those lower frequencies, those substances live on those lower frequencies. So if you're doing it to escape, if you're doing it to, you know, try to get away from things, those substances are going to keep you in the same vibrational frequency. They're not going to help you rise above it. They may give you a little bit of relief, but in the long run, and I've seen this across the board, you have anxiety in the middle of the night when you do stuff like that, and it comes back tenfold. So if you're trying to let go of substances, it's really about not conducting from heavy energy, not creating a momentum that you need to escape from. By accepting and letting go of resistance, decide what you want. That's how you do it. You decide what you want to happen and consciously creating by deciding what the better outcome is going to be. And honestly, when things look really bad, I know I've said this before, but Jesus, so bears repeating. When things get really dense, when the energy field gets really dense and it's really bad, that's when things are about to shift. That's when things are about to change for you. And that's when you're about to experience something else, because the desire gets so strong that it pushes the energy field. And before you know it, you know, something happened that's amazing and changes everything. So if things are really bad right now, they're about to get better. Okay? As long as you believe it, you got to believe it. Sometimes you don't even have to believe it, honestly. Keep in mind when things get, the super dense. Yep. This happens when, so solutions are out there. There's solutions are in a higher frequency, right? They're in a higher vibration, and your problem energy is down here, and a lot of times you're in it. All you have to do is reach, like continue to reach higher, reach your thoughts higher, and you'll hit solution energy in different ways. And then you'll start to see how the energy field unfolds, and that's what starts to wake you up. That's what helps you to become more of a conscious creator. So being a conscious creator is getting ahead of the energy field, taking everything that's happening and deciding what you want to happen before you begin a momentum of worry and stress. Because once you begin the momentum of worry and stress, remember, it's a little harder to get out of it. So being a conscious creator means we take it from the beginning. We take it from the very beginning of, you know, something happens, you're not happy about it. How am I going to deal with this? And get really good at talking to yourself. Get really good at managing your own emotions and understanding that the negative emotions are there for you. They're there for you to clarify what you want, but they're not there for you to take you out of your power. They're there for you to navigate, to give you information about yourself, and to put you on a path where you can be more in charge. That's what your emotions are there for. It's all an up level and an awakening. So everything that's happening, all of the worst case scenarios, all of the stuff, the circumstances around you that are not optimal, even the stuff that's just okay, that you're not like super excited about, those are all reasons to wake up and to create differently, to really put yourself in a position where you can become more powerful in what you are deciding. A full realization that you have the power to decide and manifest what happens next, and you use your ability to focus and take yourself there. That's what being a conscious creator is. That's what's deciding in every moment, what am I tuning into? What am I tuning into? And once you get to a certain level, you're much less likely to dip. And if you do dip, you navigate it differently and quicker. Decide what you would tune out of. Do vibrational raising things. So these are things that I do to raise my vibration, and I do it because I love it and I know that it helps me to feel better. So things like Drinking water. I love drinking water. I don't like being thirsty. Forest bathing. We talked about that on my last podcast. Getting out in the forest, listening to the trees, listening to the birds, listening to nature, getting yourself out in sunshine. Sunshine's so good for you. I don't care what they say. It is so good for you. Gratitude, create something, listen to something that raises your vibration. Hello, this podcast, I have 76 episodes. Listen to something that reminds you of who you are, because there is this consistent forgetting. If you're in the doubts and the worry and the stress, you are consistently forgetting who you are. And because of that, you continually tune yourself into old vibrations and habits of thought. Activate your thoughts in higher frequencies. So this was something I realized, and I think the book that I read was Excuse Me, Your Life is Waiting by Lynn Grabhorn. And it talks about like running your energy field. So instead of being in the mundane thoughts, those 60,000 thoughts, you pull your thoughts up and you go, what is the most exciting thing I can think about right now? What are the things that I am so grateful for? What are the things that I am excited about, that are coming up for me? Or what are the things that I've experienced in life that were fantastic? My husband and I actually went through kind of our memory banks. Like, we were thinking about all the things that we've done together. There's been so many things that we've done together and all the adventures we've had. And it was really fun. It was fun to go through memory lane like that. And it's like, oh, we did this. Remember when we did this? And that was really fun. That was like a vibration raising activity that we did instead of going over, the woes. We're going up, we're leveling up. So work on bringing your thoughts higher when you're driving, when you're cooking, when you're showering. Work on bringing your thoughts higher instead of being in the lower frequencies of stress and worry and trying to figure things out. Go into solution mode, go into receiving mode by, deep breathing, clearing your thoughts, listening to music. Music is so vibration raising. We actually found this radio station called Mood Boost on Spotify. Oh my goodness. We listened to that the entire weekend from the TV, and it was just one wonderful song after another. And it was mood boosting. It literally was. So music is a great way to do that. Talking to wonderful friends, having a good time, having some laughs. Great idea. Great idea. So when you get out of the to-do list and the worst case scenarios. Get out of what you don't want. Let go of resistance, worry, fear, problem energy, and eliminate negativity in your life. So whatever's creating the most negativity in your life, let it go a little bit more and more. If it's a person and you've got to spend a lot of time with them, maybe start limiting your time with them. This is your journey. So, we have this idea that we've got all these obligations and we have to be there for people, and we feel guilty when we're not. And the truth is, everyone is creating their own reality. So when we take responsibility for someone else's reality and we work to try to improve their reality by taking away from our improvements, taking away from our joy, we don't do anyone any good. So start limiting the negativity. Get out of the groups on Facebook that are driving you crazy. Turn off the news. Get out of the negativity. If you've got negative programs that you're watching on TV that are making you feel yucky, turn them off. Where you listen to something that's more lighthearted. Start reading more. You can do research. You can really get into this law of attraction stuff. Really understanding universal law will help you to become a more powerful creator. So pull into those higher frequencies, which is gratitude, love, being silly, being goofy. I don't know if you saw my Facebook, but oh my goodness. We were in this really fancy restaurant last night, and we had this little confetti that my husband had taken from another restaurant that had happy birthday, and we're sticking them on our foreheads and taking pictures. And then we were making funny faces, and then the husband started making funny faces, and it was just one funny thing after another. So that's what happens when you tune your frequency up, when you continue to raise your vibe, when you continue to get out of mundane thinking, to-do lists, problems, you pull that energy up. Be a conscious creator in where your energy lies, where your energy conduction is, the mood. You wake up in the morning and you're in a bad mood because something happened yesterday. I know it feels like impossible to get out of the bad mood. But I just gave you all these tools that will help you to incrementally shift. We can't go from being miserable to being happy. It's too far of a jump. So we have to incrementally shift. We've got to step into a little bit of gratitude, step into the forest, step into the sunshine, take a few minutes, look at the beautiful trees, look at the beautiful sky. Incrementally move that vibration so you start conducting differently. Pay attention to what that bad mood is connected to. It's usually a belief and a perception that things are not going to work out for you, or a belief and a perception that you're doing something that you hate. That's the energy you're sending. Remember that. You're sending that energy out and you're going to get it back every time. All right. Get out of the loops. You got those neural loops, those neural pathways. You've got emotional loops that you play over and over again. Ask yourself, what is a consistent emotion that I have that's negative? So for me, like going on vacation, it was definitely like consistently like fear. Like, I don't want to get out of my comfort zone. I went through years of that, not wanting to get out of my comfort zone. Now I'm like, where's the comfort zone? I don't even know where it is anymore. Like, I'm doing this. We're doing this, right? I'm paddling inside of a cave. So it was funny because we came up to these caves and we had this great tour guide. She was so cute. She'd only lived there a year. She moved from Colorado and she's like, okay, I'm going to jump in the water. I'm going to push you guys in. We have to wait for the sets because the sets were coming into this cave and literally like a washing machine, like you could be shoved up against the rocks. And I trusted her. I trusted that she did enough of these tours and she knew what the right time was. And she's like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to swim behind you guys. I'm going to push you guys in. And then you guys are going to row as fast as you can. And then I'll push you back out because the waves are coming in trying to push you back in. Right. So we're sitting outside. She's doing like one kayak at a time. And my husband and I are in a double kayak and she's literally like, okay, we're ready to go. And you can hear there's a sea lion inside this cave and it sounds like a lion or like a dinosaur, like roaring, right? So I looked at my husband, he goes, oh, we're going. And I'm like, yep, we're going. Like I had no doubt that that was something we had to experience. And it was amazing. In the past, maybe not. My fear probably would have kept me down. My fear would have kept me tense. My fear would have put me in pain. My fear would have created a lot of misery. And in the long run, it would have been amazing. So I just skipped all that and I just went to the amazing and it was amazing. So look at your tendencies. That was a tendency for me. It's a tendency for me to come home from vacations and have a happiness hangover. I'm not doing that anymore. It's a waste of time. I have too much going on. I posted the other day a little meme that said, get in enough action so that your doubts don't have time. You don't have time to entertain your doubts. You're in so much action. You're giving so much value. You're putting out so much love. You're, creating so much joy in your life that you don't have time for these little tiny, they're like little gnats in your ear trying to convince you that life sucks, trying to convince you that you don't have power. Shut them down. Get a freaking fly swatter, okay? Just take control back of your life and notice the ways that you create misery, being in resistance to other people's journeys, worrying about your kids, worrying about your spouse, worrying about the world. All of that stuff deteriorates. I think that's a word. Deteriorates. I'm not sure if I said that right. I made up a new word. It chips away at your high vibration and continues to put you in a low frequency state where, shit happens, flat tires, head colds, all that stuff is because you're in a lower frequency state. So continue to raise that vibe and you will be a conscious creator and you will be able to create so much easier. Step into trust so that trust is everything is always working out for me. That trust is it's all going to work out. It was so funny. We ended up being a little bit late for our reservation last night because we took a little nap and I was on my way there and our reservation was 5:30. And I know this place has an hour and a half limit to your table because it's super popular. They're always booked out. It's amazing. The food's amazing. They have live entertainment. So we're on our way there and my friends text me, hey, we're going to be there at 6. And I was like, what? Like we're running like 7 minutes late. They're running a half an hour late. I'm like, what? I go, our reservation's at 5:30 and we only have a limited amount of time. Totally shifted that. Unfortunately, I sent that text. after that, my husband and I start talking about it, and my husband goes, everything always works out for us. Like literally this weekend has been one manifestation after another of things working out for us. So I said, you're totally right. And the next message I sent is, we're all doing our best. So we walk into the restaurant and I said to the girl, okay, I got some lame friends and they're late. And she said, no worries. And they changed our reservation to 6:00. And they never kicked us out. We had an amazing time. And because it was a Monday, they weren't super busy. So, when we put that energy out and we think to ourselves, this isn't going to work out for me, that's when misery and stress is created. When we take that power back and we go, you know what, we're doing our best, so we're going to get our best, right? And because of that, life is going to work out for me, and it's going to work out better than I could expected. And literally, that's how, from the cave store being right next to my place to just the different things that we did and the different ways in which we navigated, everything lined up. Like even the kayak tour, like we had the snorkeling, we had, made reservations like a couple hours before that kayak tour, and it was totally available. So, when we really want to do things and we believe they're going to work out for us, they absolutely do. And my husband was online looking and he goes, there's none left. They're all booked out. And I was like, hold on. And I look and boom, we get it. So get out of your tendency to create stress. Get out of your addiction to stress. Take your power back by deciding, okay, this is what I want to happen. This is how I want to feel. And because I want to feel this way, I'm going to perceive this situation differently. I'm not, I realized recently, like I started thinking something negative about someone and I was like, I don't want to believe that about them. I don't want to believe that about them. That doesn't feel good to believe that about them. I know that I have evidence that that's the way they've done things in the past, but I want to believe they're changing. I want to believe they're doing their best. I want to believe that I can tune into a different frequency with them. And because of that, I feel different. And because I feel different, I tune different. And when I tune different, I create different. And that is how it works. It's simple. We complicate the crap out of it. Absolutely. It's so simple that we can tend to not do it because it's so simple. Because, we have this monkey mind. We've got this really brilliant mind that really wants to work on complicated things, and it wants to overcomplicate life. So it puts us in a lower frequency. So when we're not subject to that mind, when we meditate, I'm pretty sure I said meditate was like number one on the list here. We quiet the mind, we create the space, we get ourselves in higher consciousness, we've got a higher vibrational set point. When we do that, we have the ability to let go of thoughts that are going to tune us lower. We get all of the power back. So that's how you become a conscious creator. Keep working at it. Keep going. Keep doing your best. Give yourself a break. Let yourself off the hook a little bit. If you're not doing it perfectly, congratulations. You're not supposed to. We're human. This is a process. There's no such thing as perfection. It's all about progress. Recognize the progress. Celebrate the progress, because if you've done a whole bunch of wonderful things for the last 30 days and all of a sudden you trip, it's okay, because you have the momentum of those 30 days behind you. So that little trip is not going to take you out. It's not going to spin you out. And if it does, guess what? Great information in a spin out. There's great information. There's great information in, falling into an addiction again. There's great information about making mistakes. There's great information about being in the problem for a little while. It's all about your expansion and growth. So it's all good, good, good. Love it. Okay. So I had offered on my Facebook page and on my Manifest to Live Life Goldyn group that if you want to be part of my review team, I'm taking on some people to read my new book, Mindful Manifestation Secrets. It is out on Amazon. The cover is amazing. And every chapter, now this is Quantum Speak revamped. So it's the same book. There are a few revisions where I put podcast episodes at the end of every chapter that correlate. And then the cover is amazing. Like I would buy it just for the cover. So I'm offering that through the Kindle version. So if you really want that, email me at livelifegolden@gmail.com and I will send that to you. And then within 10 days or so, if you could give me a review on Amazon, that's pretty much the condition to getting the book, is you give me a review on Amazon, and it will help my book to move up on the Amazon thing so we can get this information out to more people, which is super duper important to me, which is basically what gets me jumping out of bed in the morning. All right. I love you all. I'm super excited for the 50th year of my life. I know there are so many great things happening and coming. And I know that as I up level and tune my frequency higher and higher, I'm going to bring more people with me because there are so many of you out there that are ready for this type of living. You're ready for abundance. You're ready for love. You're ready for joy. But guess what? If you feel broke, you're not telling the universe that you're ready for abundance. If you feel misery, you're not telling the universe you're ready for happiness. So you've got to start taking control over that frequency and tune it and continue to tune it. Continue to boost your mood with whatever, like what is going to make me feel my best right now is a question I ask myself throughout the day. In fact, I'm doing it with my eating. What would make me feel my best, you're going to eat differently than if you were like, well, what's going to make me, feed my stress monster or feed my sugar monster? I mean, that's unconscious eating, right? When you're just eating for your emotions, you're not consciously eating. And if you're not consciously eating, how can you possibly lose heavy weight around you? So I continue to get fitter and healthier because I'm asking myself these questions. What would make me feel my best? And the answer is always high vibrational stuff. Sometimes it's wine, believe it or not. Sometimes wine enhances my experience. I know. If you don't drink alcohol, good for you. If I continue this journey and decide to let it go, I know that that's just my answer. It's my expansion and growth. It's what I'm feeling called to do at the time. So intuitively, what I do that makes me feel my best is where I'm at. But that's conscious creating. That's not being an unconscious drinker. That's not getting wasted. It's literally being conscious about what I'm putting inside of my body and how it feels and how I want to feel. So you can take your power back. You can do it on all fronts, I promise. And if you have questions, let me know. Manifest to Live Life Goldyn is a great way to connect. That's a group on Facebook. You can just ask to join. I'll let you in. M21 Revolution. We do not have a current challenge right now. That's a meditation group. We teach you how to quiet your mind in 21 days. There's tons of challenges in there. So it's a free group. You can go in and do a day 1 and see what comes up in a day 2. There's guided meditations, visualizations, all sorts of wonderful stuff. And we will probably launch a challenge within the next month or 2. So we've got big stuff coming up in September, both Jess and I. She has a retreat in Hawaii. If you're interested, I think she still has a few spots left. She's absolutely an amazing soul. And she's doing this with a couple of incredible women. So you can connect with Jess Gumkowski is her name, or just email me if you want to know more about that. And I have a retreat coming up at the end of September just with my founding members in Newport, California. We're doing a beach house. So, oh man, that's a thrill. And then I'm going to actually create some time with my family after that. So more vacation time. Geez, this has been quite a year. Let me tell you. All right. I love you all. Peace out.